Hey y'all, this is Financial Oracle with another Card Chronicles. I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about who I am and why my brain is wired the way it is when it comes to just this undeniable determination to become my own business owner. So after I graduated from undergrad, I went straight into the corporate world. And immediately I realized that college does not prepare you for corporate politics. And when I say corporate politics, I mean favoritism, bullying, micromanagement, just these little subtle things that not only management does or HR, but also like your colleagues, your peers, people that you work side by side with, just the mental games that goes along with the job itself. And I struggled my entire 20s, like from 24 all the way up to my 30s. I struggled to keep a job. Like I could not keep a job longer than 6 months. Like I jumped from good jobs to, permanent jobs. I had great benefits, high salary. I would have my own office, everything. And I just could not stay put in one position because the office bullying, it was just so intense. And, it took me a while to understand why it was happening and what steps I could take or approaches I could take to cope with it, because it's people are going to be people at the end of the day. Just because it's a professional environment doesn't mean you're not going to come across people that aren't professional. You're going to always have a few bad apples in the bunch. So one thing that I realized is that, for one, never prioritize someone else's company or an employer over yourself. And one example is, if there's anything that needs to be done medically, or you have something going on like family or something that's important to you that's personal, never neglect yourself just to keep a job, because you never know. An employer, you could have a job one day and the next day you don't have one. Employers, they don't care about your personal well-being. They care about their bottom line at the end of the day. That's one thing I learned. Another thing I learned is that your coworkers are not your friends. They're not your friends, okay? You don't know these people. You don't know what they do outside of that job. You're there to provide a service. You're there to work and go home. Of course you want to be pleasant, you want to be cordial, but never give yourself or open up too much to the people that you work with. That saying where you don't shit where you work, that's a real thing. That's a real thing that I learned in my 20s. Let me see. So another thing I wanted to share is that, office bullying is a real thing. You come in there, you're young, you might have a couple of degrees and, you're in a executive position, but the next person, they've been there for 10 years and they don't have an office. They might be in a cubicle or, sharing a space or something like that. And they see a young person coming in there and pretty much is taking over or is managing them. Of course, they're going to feel a certain kind of way. So always, before you go into any setting, to always have a cloak of protection. And I realized during my 20s that prayer is such a great tool to use. It prepares you mentally, but also it gives you a sense of security within yourself. Yes, at the end of the day, God got me. Whatever happens, it was meant to happen. And because I was bullied a lot in corporate settings, because I experienced a lot of workplace bullying, that really just pushed me into what I'm doing today. Just being my own boss, making my own money, making my own rules, choosing who I want to work with. That's such a great benefit to being your own boss, is that you get to choose who you want to work with. You don't have to work with Susie and Bob if you don't want to, you can choose. And that's the thing that really drives me to being the best I can be for myself and my family, is the freedom of choice. It's the freedom of just, knowing that you write your own checks, you generate your own income. You don't have to kiss anybody's, what. So that is my message to anyone that is struggling in the workspace. You are not alone. You are not alone. I experienced it all throughout my 20s. Now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, nah, I'm not, no, I'm building my own. So, all right.